Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling, the major league of professional wrestling seen around the world. We're originating from the famous Sportatorium right here in Dallas, Texas. I'm Bill Mercer. It's great to have you with us, and we've got a world-class card for you. Just catch this. Scott Casey meets Rip Oliver. We've got Gino Hernandez, the Texas heavyweight champion, and John Mantell. The Fantastics are here, and our main event. Well, it's going to shake the old Sportatorium. It's Kerry Von Erich and the one-man gang, along with Gary Hart standing by, in a rematch. That's all coming up next here on World Class Championship Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to World Class Championship Wrestling, coming to you from the world-famous Sportatorium. All matches are sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance and seen around the world. And as we welcome everyone to the building, we'd like tonight to issue a very special welcome to some 80 employees who are here as our guests tonight from the Dallas area Mervyn's Department Stores. We'd like for them to stand up and be recognized. There they are behind me. Mervyn's Department Store is our guest tonight. A pleasure to have them with us. This bout, one fall, 15-minute time limit. In front of me, from Canada, welcome the Canadian at 265 pounds, Kelly Kiniski. His teammate from New Jersey, 255 pounds, Jack Victory. Their opponents with flowers and belts, welcome please from the City of Angels, the Fantastics, Tommy Rogers, 220 pounds, Bobby Fulton, 225 pounds. Your referee is Rick Hazard.
The Fantastic Fantastics. They are so popular. The young ladies lining the entire Sportatorium area around the ring, welcoming these handsome young men in who are from California. And on the other side, Kelly Kiniski and Jack Victory. Jack Victory, a young fella coming in, the World Class Championship Wrestling, teaming up with Kelly Kiniski. Rick Hazard is the referee, and just taking off their jackets. They get a cheer. Their frock coats come off. And the Fantastics ready to go. Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton. There's Tommy.
Let's go, Dallas!
And Tommy wants to get the applause rolling and the action underway. World Class Championship Wrestling. First event on our exciting events. Whoa, look at that move by Rogers, and Jack Victory is almost in the loss column. Boy, Rogers moves so fast. And of course, he gives up some height and some weight. But it's that move inside, all those quick moves, that tremendous conditioning that he has, that makes him and his partner, Bobby Fulton, so very exciting. The Fantastics, Tommy Rogers, right there. He's got the arm barred. He's got Jack Victory in trouble. And they hope that they can turn victory into defeat in this tag team event. Well, the holidays will be approaching soon. Another set of them, the great 4th of July. That's Bobby Fulton with a few moves. He takes over for his partner, Tommy Rogers. And now it's Jack Victory who's in trouble again with that left arm, the focal point of attention. Yes, sir, another great traditional holiday, the 4th of July, and there'll be a tremendous spectacular for you. Think of Fort Worth and 4th of July. Oh! Tommy Rogers on the arm of Jack Victory with a little help from his friend. It's always great to have a spectacular on the 4th of July. So holding on that extended arm is Tommy Rogers. And Jack Victory is still kind of honking out there. Trying to get his breath. He hasn't had a chance to do much. He's wrapped up with that left arm. You know, we mention every time that World Class Championship Wrestling is seen around the world, and that is true. And World Class Championship Wrestling, the competitors, the exciting men who make it go, will be in the Middle East. In the Middle East, in the first week in August. That's Tommy Rogers. He's exciting. He's fantastic. And his partner, Bobby Fulton, ready to give him a helping hand. Off the ropes, on top. Jack Vickery must wonder how come he's alone out there. He hasn't seen his partner, Kelly Kiniski, since they were introduced. There's a smash. Now Vickery has a little bit of comeback here, and he goes to work with a great deal of enthusiasm. He had been manhandled a lot, and now he's fighting back with Bobby Fulton. And Fulton reversed, got him with a head scissors, and rolls him, and Vickery says, that's not enough. He walks right back into it. Bobby Fulton with an extended wrist lock. Here comes Rogers, and now it's Tommy who extends that arm again. Vickery came out. Now we got an exchange. And Kiniski makes a good move because just as Vickery came by, he made a tag, and now they've got Tommy Rogers in trouble, but Tommy fights his way out. And it's a little bit of a brawl out there on both sides of the ring now. This is the official crew. Great move! Look at that somersault by Rogers. Kiniski is gone. Vickery is wrapped up. Rogers off the ropes. Look out for the collision. Kiniski pulls him down. Kiniski reaching up and pulling Tommy Rogers down. Vickery drops in on him. They got a 1 and a 2 and not enough for 3. Well, Kiniski comes in. He takes over for Vickery. Kiniski with Rogers going to do a bit of garrote on the rope. And Kiniski now trying to overcome some of that fire and enthusiasm and speed and ability of the fantastic Eddie clotheslines him. Kiniski is not on top the long time. That's just a count of 1. And Kiniski moving in. Gonna try a neckbreaker, and he rips Tommy Rogers. Kiniski with an elbow drop across the chest. That's a count of 2, but Rogers somehow fights out. Looks like he wouldn't have anything left after all that. But he is a fantastic. Here's an abdominal stretch. A sinister hold, a dangerous one. Vickery helping Kiniski put some more pressure on. Vickery pulling again, putting more pressure on Rogers, and now Rick Hazard has checked it out and puts a count on. Well, Vickery and Kiniski have teamed up into a pretty healthy duo. A flying elbow into the neck of Tommy Rogers. Vickery flies, but Rogers survives. A smash to the midsection. A kick by Rogers. He fights back. Oh, what endurance. A reverse dropkick kick. And Rogers wants to go to the other corner. He's got to find his way over there. He falls. Going to make it. Not quite. Not quite. Vickery pulls him back. Tommy trying it again. They missed him. Oh, Tommy Rogers is forced to stay in the ring. There's an uppercut kick. Kiniski helping out a little bit. And Kiniski doesn't help Rogers, does help his partner, Jack Vickery. Look at Tommy move. Here comes Bobby Fulton. Oh, what an uppercut. Have one, Kiniski, have another one. Oh, are they going after it? Shot across the head, and everybody's in the ring, and the whole place is in the turmoil. Here comes the partners. A double drop kick. See what they can do for victory here. And to fire him off. Up and over. Look out. 1, 2, 3. Fulton and Rogers, the Fantastics, defeat Victory. Let's go to Mark Lowrance.
The hands of the Fantastics are raised as winners.
The Fantastics are indeed that as they win another one. And we'll be back with Jim Cornette, who has a thing or two to say right after this on World Class Championship Wrestling. Jim Cornette loves to expound, and he'll do that now on the various people and the problems that he faces.
I've always said that Texans were thieves ever since they stole the whole state at the Alamo, and Scott Casey, you proved me right. When you took the green jacket that my mother gave me for winning a mixed doubles tennis tournament, I'm going to show you people the tape, and you decide who's right.
Low to the head, now Conry back. Ducks, high, and atomic drop takes him on over, 2 and 3. The 1-2-3 victory on a great move, but all of a sudden it's Crippler Rip Oliver.
Winner of the match and still television champion, Scott Casey.
Scott Casey now, in the midst of a 2-on-1 battle, has got Cornette. Puts him in the atomic drop, grabs him. Grabbed him by the coat comes off, and Cornette is rescued by the Crippler.
Now Casey's got that floozy sunshine at ringside with him trying to keep me from getting my property back, but I promise you, Casey, I will get my property back, and when I do, I'll make sure, for every stain, for every scratch, I'll get even with you.
With the help of Tedeschi, Cornette wants his jacket, and Cornette has his jacket. No, he doesn't. Casey's got it. Oh, Casey! Well, Eaton's got the jacket. Here comes Casey out. The battle for the jacket is on. He's back in. Casey still has the jacket. 4 of them couldn't get the jacket away from Scott Casey. And they're still going after it. Now there are enough people down there. There are 4. I guess 1. And Casey off with the boot. He's going to protect that green jacket like the king of the mountain. Bronco Lewis got like the thing settled out. Here comes the great Kabuki in, and he's in to help out. Now things have evened up. Kabuki has come to the aid of Scott Casey, his partner in the tag team event. And so Cornette, Tedeschi, and the Midnight Express leave, and the green jacket is still in the hands of Scott Casey, and there's Sunshine.
Now the most embarrassing thing, that little witch Sunshine has everybody convinced that she threw me down and beat me up, and I'll tell you the only thing that happened, I went over to talk to her, I tripped on a loose mat cover, and I fell down, and she kicked me while I was down, because no woman can beat a man up, and Sunshine, I'm going to prove that to you one of these days, because men are superior, and you're jealous, you just can't face it. I hate your guts, Sunshine.
Casey failed that time, catches himself, now Oliver takes him over, pins him. And the Crippler pins Scott Casey. No, it was Casey doing the pinning. They were both down, and it's Casey the winner. And now the Crippler, after the bell, goes after Scott Casey. Sunshine sprays him, and Cornette grabs Sunshine and throws him away. Sunshine thrown away, and Cornette just laughs. But look at Sunshine. Takes the shoes off. And it looks like Kung Fu City. She pulls Coronet over. Kicks him down, and Coronet goes to the floor.
We're here at ringside with Jim Cornette, and you've got the whole crew. What do you plan to do?
This is the
Try to
best
get the
looking
jacket?
assemblage of men you've ever seen in your life. Let me tell you something. My Midnight Express aren't going to interfere in this match in any way, shape, or form, and neither am I. Rip Oliver's fixed to beat Scott Casey's brains out, but we're going to get my jacket back tonight. I promise you, we are going to get that jacket back from Casey, and that's all I got to say.
That's all you got to say, huh? Well,
We got a match to win, and believe me, of all the things that I've ever done, I couldn't have done it without me.
yeah, but the green jacket's going to be over there.
Hey, don't worry about the green jacket. Like I said, we're going to get it back tonight. And Rip, are you going to beat Casey's brains out? Okay, hold this. We got a match to win.
You got to take off. Okay, I got two microphones. You got to win the jacket, all right?
Get it one way or another.
Well, they're in the ring. And if you can imagine that Scott Casey is going to look over his shoulder with the whole crew down here. You know what Scott said about the fact that he was always going to be watching for Mr. Cornette, but he wished Jim would just come on down and try to get it away from him. I don't think that's going to happen. But right now, the rest of the crew's coming in. Scott Casey. And Sunshine's with her. And Kabuki. Oh, ho, looks like it's going to be something. Let's go to the ring and Mark Lawrence.
Get him out of here! Get him out of here!
Ladies and gentlemen,
All the way out here.
our next bout, one fall, 15-minute time limit. In front of me, a very vociferous Jim Cornette presents his man from Florida, 262 pounds, the crippler, Rip Oliver. The lovely Sunshine talks with his opponent, who hails from Bulverde, Texas, 250 pounds, Scott Casey. Other members of the ringside include the Great Kabuki, Sunshine, the Midnight Express. Rick Hazard is your referee.
Referee, get Kabuki out of here, man! Get Kabuki out of here, Hazard!
I've been asked by referee Rick Hazard to make this announcement to Sunshine and Jim Cornette. The referee is saying that if any of your men interfere with the bout, it will cost you the fall.
Well, you heard the announcement. If anybody interferes, it's going to cost them the battle. And that generally is what happens anyhow, but I think they just made it plainer here because Jim Cornette's alongside, along with Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, and that means trouble as Rip Oliver is ready to go against Scott Casey. The green jacket is in the corner. Kabuki is over there, and so is the lovely Sunshine. So let's watch very carefully as these two battle because there is no love lost in the ring and certainly none outside the ring. You know,
Remember, we're here for that jacket, and I don't want to leave without it. I think Rip's going to beat Casey.
Look at it. Look at it.
But you
I'll
just
work
watch
out.
out for the weirdo.
just watch out for
Wait a
the...
minute, let's not cost Rip the match, man. Let's not cost Rip the match. Let's wait and see what's going on. Just keep it out. Don't cost Rip the match.
A lot of discussion going on both sides of the ring right now.
Both, baby, we want both.
Sunshine and the Great Kabuki protecting the green jacket as though it were the nation's treasury. And Cornette obviously distressed because Rick Hazard doesn't like the looks of things down here. So a lot of extraneous things could happen in this bout. Interesting that Jim Cornette, looking at that footage, that Sunshine kind of threw him. Evidently she's been working on some judo. But Cornette always has an answer to that. He says he just tripped. Well, we'll see about that. Miss Sunshine gets in situations where she needs to know judo. Scott Casey coming up now. And we're holding Rip Oliver up on the left arm. Scott Casey hammering in on Oliver. And Scott Casey and Oliver teamed up in a grudge match in this one. Bang goes Oliver. I'm sure Cornette did not bring this entire crew down here just as interested bystanders. I just can't keep that in my mind that that's all he's going to do. It might have changed some of his plans when he saw Kabuki come up with Sunshine. But we'll see about that as this bout moves along. I'd like to salute one of our major markets in our worldwide world-class championship wrestling viewing audience. For Arkansas, our friends at Jonesboro, Arkansas. Arkansas State is up there and a lot of other great things. Arkansas State University. And a fine TV station, KAIT, Channel 8 in Jonesboro. Right there with world-class championship wrestling.
Let us go get it now. Wait a minute. All we gotta do is take it off the belt.
Kabuki's there. You forget about Kabuki. Got them sticks, man. Just wait a minute. Let's see what they're going to do.
I want the jacket bad as you do.
We're going to get it. Believe me.
Kabuki there with them sticks.
Kabuki.
What?
The witch. I said witch.
Sometimes it's difficult to, or dangerous to eavesdrop. Hasn't been too difficult right here. And we have to keep an eye on Cornette as we keep an eye on Scott Casey and Rip Oliver. Another on that arm bar.
You know what Mama's going to say if we go get that jacket back?
Get the jacket. Let us go get it now.
This way.
They want to go get the jacket. Cornette in hand with tennis racket. Thump across the chest. Scott Casey unloading on Oliver, but they battle toe-to-toe. Casey from Bull Verde, Texas. A true man of the ranch country. And Rip Oliver, a part of the six-man crew of Jim Cornette. Good move again. Of course, the six-man world tag team champions are the class of wrestling, the Von Erichs. Mike, Kevin, and Kerry. Casey hammering on that arm again of Rip Oliver. Scott Casey keeping up the pressure. Scott Casey really keeping the pressure on Rip Oliver. And Jim Cornette and his Midnight Express watching from the side. Cornette seems to be overly concerned that his Midnight Express may interfere and Rip Oliver lose the match. Now Casey, belted in the midsection, comes tumbling out. And Dennis Conry moves around along with Eatman. Cornette's keeping him away. Kabuki has come around from the other side along with Sunshine.
Come on, cowboy, get your carcass up, boy. Now you're going to see what it's like messing with me and Rip.
Sunshine with some encouraging words. He looked over his shoulder. Back in the ring is Scott Casey. And a hammering by Rip Oliver. And Casey is in lots of trouble right now. Not all of it, though. Look at that one. What a shot to the midsection by Casey. And Kabuki and Sunshine back protecting the green jacket. And there's a good hammer on the backside of Rip Oliver. Almost three, and Rip Oliver somehow struggles out. Scott Casey into the corner buckle with him. And now there go the Midnight Express around to the far side to meet Kabuki with his kendo sticks. And now, watch out! Cornette hammering Casey from behind. 1, 2, 3. Cornette sent the Midnight Express And here is Cornette and Sunshine battling for the green jacket. And Casey is up. Casey has the green jacket again, and Cornette is escaping again. Sunshine almost got clobbered by Cornette and the tennis racket, but Casey came around in time to help her. And Scott Casey is the loser. We'll see what the referee says now to Mark Lawrence as Mark gives us a report. We go down now to Mark Lawrence.
The crippler of Oliver is apparently the winner of the bout.
Okay. Evidently they did not see it, could not get verification, so the crippler, Rip Oliver, is the winner. And Sunshine is pointing out where the tennis racket hit him on the back. Well, we'll be back with more of World Class Championship Wrestling in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, one fall, 20-minute time limit. Proudly standing in front of me in the camera with his coveted Texas heavyweight belt is the handsome half-breed, 242 pounds, Gino Hernandez, who is, of course, your Texas heavyweight champion. Across the ring, his opponent. Welcome, please, Johnny Mantell. Bronco Lubitsch to officiate this non-title event.
Yes, sir, the handsome half-breed from Highland Park. The young man is not shy at all about telling you that he is the best, he is the handsomest, and he runs with a fast car and a lot of enthusiasm. Gino Hernandez, the Texas heavyweight champion, and John Mantell. He's a Texan, too, from the western part of the state. Put it out in Wise County in that area. So we have two different styles. The flamboyant Texan of the more flamboyant area, and Johnny Mantell, a little more down to earth. And there's a lot of it. That's Mantell with a move on the champion, Gino Hernandez. Johnny Mantell runs some horses, has some great ones. Some beauties, some of those that have long pedigrees called thoroughbreds. He and Scott Casey. We'll see those bumper stickers. Well, they'd rather be riding or handling their horses. Chris Adams, Gino's partner in various tag team crimes, is the American heavyweight champion. Chris and Gino teaming up to be quite a duo. For a while, it seemed unlikely that Chris could sort of emulate the style of Gino Hernandez, but I think he's learning. And Mantell is learning. Right, kind of run through him, up and over. And a flying drop kick, and Mantell is a man with a goal in this one. Beat Gino Hernandez and maybe get a Texas heavyweight championship shot. Oh, he's got Gino Hernandez wrapped up right now. But Gino Hernandez really is a perplexing style wrestler, because just when you think he's gone, he's there, he's winning. And speaking of Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez, they got a match coming up with the Von Erichs. And that's going to be an interesting one. That is going to be one that dates us back. Oh, look at that kick to the midsection by Gino. Now there's where you find Gino turns things around. If you recall when Gino and Chris, particularly Gino, hammered the new automobile of Kevin Von Erich that he won in the 12-man tag team event at Texas Stadium. And they hammered it and crushed it and battered it. And there's still a lot of revenge in the hearts of the Von Erichs over that. Bad reverse kick by Gino Hernandez. He does have some style, doesn't it? Yes, sir. Back in on top now, a little late, Gino. He circled the wagons out there too long. Gave Mantell a chance to recover.
What's the hell?
Gino Hernandez and Johnny Mantell. Gino says he's not concerned at all about the threat of the Von Erichs.
I am your champion. I am your champion. I am your champion. Yeah.
Well, Gino has given us that to know, and we certainly will abide by his words. He is our champion.
I am your champion. Yeah.
The Von Erichs hope to get back, but Gino has this very, very expensive and very fast and very attractive sports car. I think they'd kind of like to put a few dents in that for him. But he's been very careful about where he parks it. At any rate, that bit of activity still reigns supreme between the Von Erichs and Gino and Chris Adams. There's been a great deal of discussion. I mentioned this last time around on our last series of events. Ooh, into the midsection. Gino's tough, but so is Mantell. Put him around, drop kicking. Shot, another shot, and Gino almost let Bronco Lovich have it across the head. Boom, and a smash, and Mantell firing back with those forearm shivers. That's right in the legal book. Up and over Gino. And Mantell putting on the pressure again. On top with a 2 and not a 3. Gino fires out of it. Good move by Gino, and he comes right back with a clothesline. Watch this now from Gino Hernandez on the top rope. Out on top, Mantell. 1, 2, 3, and the Texas Heavyweight Champion is the winner. And let's go right now to Mark Lawrence.
Coming from the ropes, Gino Hernandez is the winner.
And we'll be back with our main event. Kerry Von Erich and the one-man gang next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
World-class main event, ladies and gentlemen. One fall, 60-minute time limit. First of all, in front of me, from Halsted Street, Chicago, 487 pounds, the indestructible one-man gang. His manager, Gary Hart, of course, presenting him here in the ring. Across the ring is the opponent, 263 pounds from Denton County, the modern-day warrior, Kerry Von Erich. Bronco Lovich, referee.
A rematch of Texas Stadium when Kerry Von Erich beat the one-man gang. Well, in that one, of course, you'll recall that Gary Hart and Kerry's father, the one and only Fritz Von Erich, he and Gary Hart collided. And then Kerry Von Erich put the one-man gang down in a 1-2-3. So this battle is sort of a rematch. I'm sure Gary Hart would just like to have the satisfaction of a victory. And of course, he told us that his men have injured Mike Von Erich. And our latest report on Mike is there's a collision, the first one. And Mike Von Erich is at home, but they're checking his shoulder. They're considering whether they're going to perform surgery or not. Oh, we'll have an update on that in our next event of World Class Championship Wrestling. The one-man gang from Halsted Street, Chicago, yelling at Kerry Von Erich. Come on, muscle man. Oh, look at the hammer on that. Kerry Von Erich. A flying drop kick that clears the ring of part of Chicago. I think that was just a reaction to the one-man gang. He just picked up the chair and threw it up there. So the gang has been a bit humiliated early by that flying drop kick by Kerry Von Erich. As Gary Hart told us in that discussion in the limousine, now that Mike is hurt, that's one down. And 3 to go. Kerry, Kevin, and Fritz Von Erich. Well, Gary Hart has sought that for a long time.
Check the boat.
We're going to hear more about Mike's injury from his partner, Iceman. And I think we'll check that, have an opportunity to check with Iceman next week. We'll also know more about Mike's condition. Oh, great move. Another one. And Kerry Von Erich explodes on the one-man gang. 450 pounds of him. Look out for the ring post. Uh-oh. Kerry walked right into that big shoe. And he has got to escape for a second to recover. And not quick, not fast enough. Moon, as Gary Hart calls him, got another shot in. Well, Kerry Von Erich trying to recover, get his equilibrium back. Beautiful butt into the midsection. But the gang takes a shot, and a return, and a return. And they hammer away here. You know it's going to be tough. And it is. Another one, and a discus turn of Kerry Von Erich, and down goes the gang. So Gary Hart's crusade up, not quite on that iron claw on the head. Gary Hart's crusade is slowed right now a bit. And the one-man gang now has a chance for a shot to the jaw. Well, at 450 pounds can hammer you down to size. Kerry Von Erich giving up about 140 or 50 pounds. And now the chant goes up to go, Kerry, go. Go, Kerry, go. But he moves right into a tremendous bear hug. You know, next week on World Class Championship Wrestling, Kerry Von Erich and the great Kabuki team up against Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez. That's our main event. But right now the thought is, can Kerry Von Erich repeat his victory at Texas Stadium? That's where he gave Gary Hart his new nickname, the Slick.
Squeeze that rib.
Gary won it.
Squeeze that rib, please.
Gary Hart, listen to Gary.
Hang on. Hang on.
Gary Hart
Hang on.
lost his hair in that adventure. Kerry trying to fight out this bear hug. He's doing a pretty good job of it.
Clothesline in.
And he did clothesline him, just as Gary Hart told him. 1, 2, oh, not 3. I don't know how Kerry could fight out of that great blob of humanity, but he did some way. And he keeps fighting, coming on up. Kerry is a battler, a winner. He's going to give him a little piggyback, reverse chin, and maybe a sleep hold. That looks like a sleep. A piggyback sleep hold. That's the only way you can get up there. But then the gang has a way of breaking things, doesn't he? Jamming Kerry to that quarter buckle, and the Halsted Street, practically half of it, is back with Kerry and missed. But the claw hold! The claw is on the one-man gang! The iron claw of Kerry Von Erich. And Gary Hart is upset now. Gary Hart is really worried about it now. But that's an automatic break. Oh, Kerry Von Erich gives Gary Hart a shot. The Gang is trying to break out of the iron claw. He got to the corner. And the chain across the back of Kerry Von Erich. The one-man Gang came up with a chain out of the corner. They try to ring the bell. And there it is. The bout has been called. The one-man Gang. Here's Rick Hazard coming in. But he misses. Kerry Von Erich moves in time. There's a flying drop kick. Out goes the Gang. The Gang is out. Kerry Von Erich wants to get after him. Bronco Levitz and Rick Hazard are stopping him. But Gary Hart and the one-man Gang. The one-man Gang a little bloodied around the head. Here he comes back in. And they're at it again. Well, this battle will never cease. Kerry blooded him. But he wants to get revenge for that chain across his back, and you can't much blame him for that. But the Moon Man is a bloody pulp, and down goes Hazard. Oh, Kerry Von Erich bashing Bronco Lubitsch, and here come others to help out. But not the whole crew is in there. Everybody's in, trying to separate them. And the Gang is fighting everybody. And we'll be back with more on World Class Championship Wrestling in just a moment. Next week on World Class Championship Wrestling, our main event. It is Kerry Von Erich teaming up with the Great Kabuki against Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams. Another great week of wrestling right here on World Class Championship Wrestling. We'll see you then. I'm Bill Mercer. So long, everybody.